there came up this question in a Google Hangout about whether one person said they think that eternal punishment is completely irrational and completely unjust on God's part, and they didn't think highly of God, to the best of my recollection. Uh, One thing they said, or one reason they gave, was because of the idea that babies um, who do not know Jesus but die, and since they don't know Jesus, seemingly die without him, that they go to hell. This is based on the fact that Jesus said that no man comes to the Father except by him. He said he is the way and the truth and the life, and he said anyone who believes on him passes from condemnation and death, in the coming damnation because of sin, but they pass from condemnation to life. But he said whoever does not believe in him stands condemned already. Let's clear something up. There's a scripture in the New Testament, I cannot give you chapter and verse at this time, but it does say, where there is no law, sin is not imputed to that person. Now, little children, particularly babies and toddlers, are too young to know the difference between good and evil. Now, there is an earthly example that leads me to clearly believe that little children who are too young to know the difference between good and evil, God does not impute their sin to them, although they be indeed sinners born of or the seed of the first sinner, Adam, and commit their own sins. God does not impute those sins to them because they do not know the difference between good and evil. And that the hope that I find in the scripture, and encouragement I find in the scriptures in Deuteronomy chapter 1. Starting in verse 34, and it says, and the Lord heard the voice of your words and was wroth and sware, saying, surely there shall not be one of these men of this evil generation see that good land, that being the promised land, the land of Canaan that he promised to the children of Israel. Surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land which I swear to give unto your fathers, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, he shall see it, and to him will I give the land that he hath trodden upon, and to his children, because he hath wholly followed the Lord. Also the Lord was angry with me for your sake, saying, thou also shalt not go in thither. But Joshua the son of Nun, which standeth before thee, he shall go in thither. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it. Moreover, your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil. Again I say, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, the promised land, the good land, and they shall possess it. Now, if God did not restrict the children of the evildoers to enter into the physical promised land, but rather gave them passage into that promised land, allowed them to inherit the physical, the earthly, the promised land that perishes, because they were too young when the rebellion occurred to know the difference between good and evil, then he will not withhold the everlasting promised land from them, because they did not know the difference between good and evil. If God did not destroy them in the body with their fathers, God did not suffer them to perish, the little ones to perish in the body with their fathers, for the sake that they did not know the children the difference between good and evil. That he will not suffer their soul to perish, the little children, because they did not know the difference between good and evil. So babies that die do not have their sins imputed to them, but they are credited graciously by God's free will, the grace of Jesus Christ, the saving grace of Jesus Christ. Their sins are not imputed to them. The righteousness of Christ shows forth through this example in the Old Testament to cover them. And so they go to be with the Lord when they die. So Satan, stop using your ministers to slander God and his character and his mercy and his grace.